If Ali Hazelwood is writing it, I am eating it up, loving it, and rating it 5 stars. Hello bookish people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan. In today's video we are doing my June book of the month predictions video. I am so excited for this month because I just know that the mystery thriller selection for this month is going to be amazing because all the top mystery thriller authors and all previous book of the month mystery thriller authors are coming out with new releases this month. I'm talking Riley Sager, Ruth Ware, Andrea Bartz, and there's other ones I'm forgetting. Oh, The Push, Ashley Audrin, she's coming out with a new book this month. So there are so many selections to pick from. So we're gonna talk about a lot of good mystery thrillers. Also, we have one confirmed pick by an author, and today book of the month just released their in-app hint. So we have lots to talk about. Let's get into it. So first, let's start with the in-app hint. I was refreshing the book of the month app like for the past couple days. Like, when are they giving us a hint? When are they giving us a hint? Book of the month, we know they have audiobooks. You don't need to show us that graphic that long. Please give us a hint. Well, today they finally did. I was on the homepage and I scrolled down and I realized that they have things when you scroll down, and the hint was down there. So I posted it in the Reddit group. Somebody posted it in the Facebook group. Everybody in the comments on Facebook and Reddit collectively think that this in-app hint is a reference to Ink Blood Sister Scribe. Wait, Ink Blood Sister Scribe. Yes, I need to make sure I said that right. By Emma Torres, which is a fantasy novel. So I don't have any fantasy predictions for this video because I don't think they'd have more than one fantasy choice, and I'm pretty certain that everybody is correct in the comments and that this is the in-app hint reference. So let's just read the top line of that because honestly, I haven't even read the full summary. I read the top line of the summary and I was like, I'm sold, sign me up. I want it. That is my selection because it just sounds so good, and also the cover is just stunning. So here it is. In this spellbinding debut novel, two estranged half-sisters tasked with guarding their family's library of magical books must work together to unravel a deadly secret at the heart of their collection, a tale of familial loyalty and betrayal and the pursuit of magic and power. It sounds so good, like magical library, like that kind of gives me Atlas 6. I think this doesn't give me dark academia vibes, so like it doesn't give me Atlas 6 vibes in that way, but like magical library, the Atlas 6 magical library. And then also like it seems to have like a mystery element to it, a deadly secret. Like honestly, all of it sounds so good. I'm very excited for it. So that would be my fantasy prediction and also my in-app hint prediction. Okay, so for my fiction predictions, I have one contemporary and one lit fic. So let's first go into the contemporary, and the one I have for this one is The Wife App by Karen Mackler. So this is a story following 3 wives who are best friends, and they are also recently divorced or have been divorced. I don't know what the divorce says. They're just all divorced best friends, okay? And they go out to dinner together, they're drinking, having a good time, and they make a joke saying that the wifely duties that they performed in their marriages, they were unpaid for, and they really should monetize those things through an app. So they decide to create that app where spouses can hire wives or husbands for the day to do the laundry, cook the meals, handle bills, do whatever. So they create this app, and that's basically about their story, just creating this app and everything that comes along with it. And there's like some romance in here and just general life fiction stuff. I don't know, sounds like a good time, and I could see this being a book of the month selection. And for my literary fiction prediction, it is The Rachel Incident by Caroline O. Donahue. So in this book, you are following our main character Rachel, and she has a best friend and her roommate James, and they become kind of friends with her professor and his wife, but she has like a big crush on her professor. I don't know if crush is the correct word. It says like infatuation with her professor, and it's just about all 4 of them and their lives intertwining together, and a shocking secret is revealed. And the first part of this like synopsis says, where would I start and how would it even make sense? How could you understand the year in Shandon Street unless you were there with us living it? So it just sounds like an interesting literary fiction novel. And also on book of the month on Goodreads, it is tagged as fiction. It says contemporary literary fiction, coming of age, and it LGBT. It is June, so it is Pride Month, so book of the month has to have some book that has some LGBT rep in it. I would assume so because hello, it is Pride Month book of the month. Like, how can you not give us something with LGBT rep in it? So this could potentially have LGBT rep in it. The only reason I'm uncertain about that is because it seems like, I don't know, that's like the 5th tag on it, and it seems like she's obsessed with her professor who's a male, so like I don't really know, but It potentially has that rep in it. It is Pride Month, so here we go. Also, it just sounds like an interesting literary fiction story. Now we are getting into my mystery thriller predictions. So I have 2 for this genre, and the other 2 authors that have been Book of the Month selections in the past, I actually have them in the add-on category. So I'm going to reference 2 mystery thrillers authors now, and then once we get into add-ons, I will talk about the other 2 then. So now let's talk about the ones that I think could be main selections, and the first one is The Spare Room by Andrea Bartz. This is one that I am super excited about because it just sounds so fun and interesting. Basically, you're following our main character, Kelly, and she is kind of in a bad situation right now. She is living in an apartment with her ex-fiance, and due to COVID and the lockdowns, she's kind of just stuck in that situation. And then she rekindles a relationship with her childhood friend, Sabrina, and she is this best-selling romance author, and she also has a rich, powerful husband, and they live in this big mansion. And Sabrina offers Kelly a room in their mansion to get her out of that situation, and while she's there, she kind of starts developing romantic feelings for both Sabrina and her husband. And one night, things happen. It leads to a threesome, and they open up their marriage to her, and they kind of have a throuple situation going on. But then Kelly starts to get suspicious because she realizes they have done this in the past, and then their last girl that they invited into their relationship is now missing. So she is like, what is going on? Am I safe? What is happening here? And honestly, like, I just love it. It sounds so much fun. I'm very excited for this one. I would love if this is a selection, and if not, it's definitely one I'm going to be picking up. I haven't read any of Andrea Bart's work in the past, but I've read the synopsises of her 2 previous novels and have been very intrigued by them. So yeah, this is definitely one I'm adding to my TBR regardless. And the next mystery thriller prediction I have is The Whispers by Ashley Audrin. So in this book, you are following our main character, Whitney, and her son fell out of his bedroom window, and now he is in a hospital in a coma, so she is just not talking to anybody. And this book really follows their journey with that, and also the lives and the journey of the neighbors, and kind of figuring out what was going on. It sounds like a lot of, like, not family drama because they're neighbors, they're not family, but it sounds like a lot of, like, a domestic drama, I guess. I don't necessarily know where the mystery thriller element comes into it, just reading the synopsis. I mean, obviously he fell out of his window. Did he fall? Was he pushed? But the synopsis doesn't really imply was he pushed or did he fall. I think Ashley Audrin, I've never read The Push. I do own it, but I think that book is a very, like, psychological thriller, and I think this book is following that same, like, thriller genre of psychological thriller specifically. So yeah, that is the book. I can't say if I'm gonna love it or not. I haven't read The Push, but I've heard so many great things about it. It is sitting on my shelf, so, like, what am I doing? I need to read it. But yeah, so we have The Whispers by Ashley Audrin, and the reason I would say she would be a selection versus an add-on is because she only has 1 novel out, The Push, and that was a Book of the Month selection in the past, and so that's why I would think she'd be another main pick and not an add-on, because the other 2 I have for add-ons have been previous add-ons before. Now we're moving into historical fiction, and for this one, my first prediction is The Spectacular by Fiona Davis, and she is actually a repeat author as well. She is the author of The Magnolia Palace, which was a Book of the Month selection last year. This book takes place in New York, 1956, and you're following our main character, Marion, who is a rockette, and it's basically talking in the beginning about the highs and lows of being a rockette and the grueling schedule and everything going on, and then one night at one of the shows, there is a bomb that explodes, and there's this person who is now on the loose, and he has been on the run for about 16 years, and he is just known for bombing big crowded spaces, like everybody gathering to watch the Rockettes. Marion, frustrated with the fact that the police cannot find the man based on the physical evidence, she goes to them and talks about psychological profiling them, and she kind of gets pulled into the investigation, and that is basically what the book is about. It sounds really interesting. Honestly, I think this historical fiction book to me sounds like interesting more than other historical fictions because it kind of has that mystery thriller element to it as well, and also it's New York City, 1956, the Rockettes. There's so many great things about this. Honestly, this is a historical fiction book that, regardless if it's a pick, I will be adding it to my TBR. And I say adding it to my TBR versus, like, I usually say, regardless, I will be reading this. Bitch, I can't even read my own physical TBR, so, like, we're just gonna say from now on, we're adding it to the TBR, okay? Instead of, oh, I'm definitely reading this. The other historical fiction prediction that I have came from the Book of the Month Facebook group. Also, I've seen it all over people's Book of the Month hopefuls, and this is just a new release historical fiction that I've just seen across bookish social media, getting a lot of hype around it, and that is Lady Tan's Circle of Women by Lisa C. This book takes place in 15th century China and is actually based on a true story of Lady Tan and her becoming a woman physician in China during that time period, and all the struggles she went through during that time period, also being an arranged marriage and all the societal pressures being put on her about, like, how you're supposed to act in a marriage versus what she really wants to do, which is helping other women. So this book just seems like a beautiful story, and I know it's one that's getting a lot of hype around it, and again, I'm really certain based on the Book of the Month Facebook group, this is going to be a selection. Now we are moving into my romance predictions, which I am so excited because June is the month of Ali Hazelwood's newest release, Love Theoretically. I am predicting it will be a book of the month selection, but I am also predicting that this will be her last book of the month selection because I feel like book of the month really does like 3 books by an author before they kind of X them. And I'm not saying X them in a bad way, but the whole purpose of book of the month is to focus on new and emerging authors or authors that haven't gotten a lot of hype behind them and then they choose them and promote their books. So I feel like once they kind of get to that 3rd book selection, 4th book selection, they're kind of done with the authors, and we can kind of see that with Rachel Hawkins. You know, they chose Reckless Girls by her, The Wife Upstairs, but then The Villa was not a selection. Emily Henry, everyone was hoping Book Lovers was going to be a selection because Beach Read and People Meet on Vacation were, but it wasn't. I feel like there's another author. Oh yeah, Taylor Jenkins Reid. You know, Carrie Soto was not a book of the month selection. So I feel like once they kind of get to a certain level or once they've promoted their books enough, they're kind of done with it. So yeah, I think that this will be a book of the month selection, but I kind of think it's going to be the last one. So we shall see. Regardless if it is a selection or not, I will be reading it because I love Ali Hazelwood. Love on the Brain, 5 stars. The Love Hypothesis, 5 stars. The novellas, did I rate any of them 5 stars? I don't know, but I enjoyed my time reading those of novellas. So yeah, let's just get into the synopsis for this one because, oh my God, I'm just so excited. So in this book, we're following our main character, Elsie, who is an adjunct professor, and so she doesn't make much money. So to make up for that, she has a service where she will be your fake girlfriend, and her favorite client has this older brother, our love interest of the book, Jack, and she realizes Jack is actually her enemy. It's not, she doesn't say enemy, but like it's an enemies to lovers book, okay? So Jack is the one who ruined her mentor's career, that undermined theorists everywhere, and he's also sitting on the board between Elsie and her dream job. So this book is just about kind of enemies to lovers. We have more STEM in it. There is fake dating involved, and I am excited because if Ali Hazelwood is writing it, I am eating it up, loving it, and rating it 5 stars. So cannot wait for this one. The next romance prediction I have falls into a couple categories, and that is Immortal Follies by Alexis Hall. Now this is a historical romance, and it's also a fantasy romance as well, and it is also a sapphic romance. It is June. Hello, it is Pride Month, book of the month. Are you really not gonna give us a Pride Month selection in June? Like, what are you doing? Come on. This book also has a stunning cover. So in this book, you are following our main character, and it is basically just like a Regency sapphic romance. She goes to this ball. She meets this girl that has a lot of gossip surrounding her about, oh, did she murder her father and her brother to inherit her fortune? Like all this stuff. They get to know each other. They fall in love. It's cutesy. It's historical romance. It's Regency. It's fairy tales. Like, look at this cover. So this one, like, I'm less sure about, but like I had to put a book with I had to put an LGBT romance in here. Like, I could not do that. So this is the one I selected. Okay, so we'll see if this actually won. And there's also another one coming out by Kat Sebastian, but that one is a male romance. Like, okay, so for lesbians, we have sapphic romance. What do we call male romance? Is there like a specific term for that? Anyway, we have like that book with the blue cover. I don't know. I'm gonna insert it here. I don't know the synopsis for it, but I chose this one because this one sounds more interesting to me, and this is one I would actually read more. Now we are moving on to book of the month add-ons, and the first add-on we're going to talk about is the one I am most excited for because not only is it my favorite author, but she confirmed it on Instagram in the comments, and that is Elin Hilderbrand. Let's just take a moment. I love me some Elin Hilderbrand. This whole stack is Elin Hilderbrand books. Last year, The Hotel Nantucket was a book of the month add-on, and I chose it as an add-on. I read it, absolutely fell in love with it. It was my first Elin Hilderbrand book, and then I proceeded to read 8 of her books that year. So, you know, I'm a huge fan. I'm very excited for the 5-star weekend, and the reason I didn't pre-order it from Barnes & Noble is because I was hoping it would be a book of the month selection, and guess what? It is. I'm very excited. So, this one, I don't even know what it's about. I didn't even read the synopsis for it yet because I just don't care. Like, all these Elin Hilderbrand books I own, I've thrifted them, except the book of the month one. And I've never read the synopsis. I just see her name, grab, put in cart, buy it, because like I don't care. Like I just read her books because the synopsis of her books never really intrigued me. I'm never like, oh my god, that sounds interesting. But I read them and I'm like so captivated by the characters and the multiple point of views and just everything. Okay. So we just love her. Doesn't matter what the synopsis is, but I'll read this one and I'll report back. So in this book, you're following our main character, Hollis, and she is going through a hard time right now. She got into an argument with her husband, Matt, and he left during a snowy morning, driving to the airport, and because it was snowing, he got into a car accident and ended up dying. So she is just feeling really down right now. So she decides she's going to have a 5-star weekend, which she read about online, which is where you gather friends from each point in your life to have a big unforgettable weekend together. So you just bring all your girls together. So she brings somebody from her teen years, she brings somebody from her 20s, her 30s, and her midlife, each best friend for each point in her life. She brings them together for this unforgettable weekend, and that is what the book is about. Like I said, there's not much plot to her synopsises, okay? You just gotta go in for the characters, the multiple POVs, just like everything, okay? She also has really good found family in her books. She has great romance in her books, and even the like unlikable characters in her books, like you're gonna like them, okay? And you're gonna eat up every moment of it, and you're gonna rate it 5 stars, and that's just how it goes with her books. So very excited for this one. Now we're talking about the last 2 add-ons that I'm predicting, and they are both mystery thrillers, of course. And the first one is 0 Days by Ruth Ware. I'm predicting this because as an add-on because last year they had the It Girl by Ruth Ware, and that wasn't a main selection, it was an add-on. So you know, if they have this new release, it's obviously going to be an add-on. This one, I'm going to read you what the synopsis says because, like, honestly, it is so intriguing. I can't intrigue you more than this synopsis is already written to be, okay? So it says, an adrenaline-fueled thriller that combines Mr. and Mrs. Smith with The Fugitive about a woman in race against time to clear her name and find her husband's murderer. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, sign me up. So these are married spies. Sign me up. Okay, it says, hired by companies to break into buildings and hack security systems, Jack and her husband Gabe are the best penetration specialists in the business. But after a routine assignment goes horribly wrong, Jack arrives home to find her husband dead. To add to her horror, the police are closing in on their suspect, her. Suddenly on the run and quickly running out of options, Jack must decide who she can trust as she circles closer to the real killer in this unputdownable and heart-pounding mystery. Sign me up. I'm reading it right now. Okay, like I'm adding it to my TBR right now. I love it. It sounds so good. And it comes out June 20th. So yeah, why did I say that? Like I haven't did it for any other ones, but I'm like, oh, this one's coming out June 20th. Okay, next one, another one that we are all so dearly excited about, and that is The Only One Left by Riley Sager. Last year, I got The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager as a Book of the Month add-on. And that book, similar to Elin Hilderbrand, changed my life. Okay, not changed my life, but it discovered a new favorite author for me. I read that book. I was completely obsessed with it. And I proceeded to read every single book that Riley Sager has ever published. And I had a really great time doing it. I filmed a vlog doing it. So if you want to watch that, you should check it out. But yeah, it was quite an amazing time, and let's just read the synopsis for this one. So in this book, you're following our main character, Lenora, and she is part of this Hope family, and they lived in this kind of secluded area on a cliffside, and her whole family was murdered, and she was suspected to be the one who killed them, but she was never put in jail for it. And now we fast forward until when she is in her elderly years. She is confined to a wheelchair and she is mute due to a series of strokes. She's not able to talk, so she has a in-home nurse, and that nurse fled in the middle of the night. Enters our new nurse, Kit, and Kit comes in, and Lenora is able to communicate with her through a typewriter, and she types out, "I want to tell you everything." So this starts our journey on her telling Kit what really happened back then. As she's telling Kit the story, Kit's starting to get a little suspicious that there's might be more that Lenora is not telling her, and that the elderly woman in her care might be a lot more dangerous than she previously thought. So that is the synopsis for that one. Sounds really good. Honestly, again, right, there's some authors where you just don't care about the synopsis, okay? Like Riley Sager, like I'm gonna read it no matter what. Elin Hilderbrand, I'm gonna read it no matter what, okay? Ali Hazelwood, I'm gonna read it no matter what. So yeah, those are my Book of the Month predictions. It's going to be a crazy month. I am personally so excited. Like imagine this is a box where I have 3 5-star reads. Well, actually no, now you can have 4 add-ons. Imagine this is a box, I have 5 5-star reads. Who knows? Honestly, even though you can have 4 add-ons now, like I'm trying not to go there. Like let's not do it. Let's stick to only 2 add-ons because my bookshelves can't handle it. Like I cannot fit any more books on these shelves. And yeah, you know, we're tapping out on my physical space here. So either I actually need to read my physical TBR or I need to stop buying more books. Both of which I don't want to do because I'm like, oh my god, I want to read that book so bad. I buy it, and then once I own it, I'm like, okay, library, what do you have for me? Alrighty, well, I will talk to you guys later and see you in the next one. Subscribe down below. Bye!